Good afternoon, everyone. We're just going to give everybody a couple of minutes here to log on. Okay, so I think we can go on ahead and get started. So thank you for joining us today. I'm Laura Back with Mulberry Talent Partners. Today we are joined by Lauren Francis, who is the founder and president here at Mulberry Talent Partners, and then Kristen Winter, who's a financial services professional with WealthWave. Just a little bit about Mulberry, in case you don't know us. We are a recruiting and temporary staffing firm here in Portland. We specialize in HR, professional office, administrative, accounting, finance, and payroll and operations positions for direct hire, temp to hire, and temporary positions. I'm going to hand it over now just briefly to Lauren to go on ahead and introduce Kristen.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Lauren Francis, as Laura mentioned, and I met Kristen through another connection, and we have not yet met in person. This is the second person that I have had on the show that I have not yet met in person, but we've had many great times to connect recently. And Kristen, I wanted to have Kristen on the show because our role and why we developed the show was to help job seekers and to bring experts to the table, to bring their wisdom and expertise to share with all of you. And one of the pieces to employment and careers is money. And so we feel that it's an important component to our careers and employment. So we've got Kristen here to share more about her expertise in that area, and we were very intrigued by the book that she uses to help people learn about money and finance in a very easy and productive way. So I will pass the microphone over to Kristen. And
okay, thank you so much for the introduction, Lauren. I'm really excited to be here and appreciate you guys having me onto your show. It's so exciting. And I do realize that money can be one of those topics that maybe isn't as exciting or flashy or popular, maybe even sometimes a little uncomfortable to talk about money. So first, I just want to commend you all for being here and taking an interest in something as important as your personal finances. Before we really dive into what we are talking about today, I want to stop really quick and think about master chefs. They become obsessed with how food works, don't they? You think about golfers, professional golfers who watch and re-watch how they swing their club or how the best swing their club. And you, as a job seeker, are probably an expert in your field, maybe even studying your craft with precision to get better and better. Well, money is no different. Those who study how money works have a greater chance of feeling confident and about finances, and they have a greater chance of becoming wealthy. And here's the thing, unlike cooking or golfing or almost anything else in our life, financial literacy is a core life skill that we just can't really thrive in life without, because our money impacts us in so many different ways. So as I said, I'm really excited to be here and to share with you, because before I learned how money really works, I made so many financial mistakes. Okay, I'm admitting it to you. I was actually a very successful entrepreneur at a young age. I had my own business, having a six-figure take-home pay, if you can believe it, at 21, 22 years old. But I did not make the right decisions with money. I had figured out how to make the money, but not how to make money work for me. And I learned a very painful lesson through that a big income is not the same as wealth. But these tough lessons that I learned is ultimately what led me to this career. Not only did I change my whole financial future for my family by learning this, but now I get to help clients to build true wealth for themselves so that they can experience the freedom, security, and peace of mind that comes with, I call it, working toward a work optional lifestyle. So I'm going to share my screen here so I can share a little bit of info with you here. See if this comes up right. You guys see that okay? Are you able to see my slides? Okay, great. So there are some colleagues that I work with in my company recently published this book all about how money works. And it's just a small book. It's not very thick. But I think that this book couldn't have come at a more critical time. And I don't know if you'd agree with me, but most books about money kind of read like textbooks written for financial experts. I mean, they're boring, they're dry, they're intimidating. They use words maybe you don't understand. But this one is colorful and humorous, and it has this little cast of characters and helpful examples, graphics that explain everything. Our goal with this book and with the workshops that we teach is to help people find financial confidence, not only during these very uncertain times, but also far beyond that. And after this call today, I want to make sure that everyone who wants one will get their own free copy of this book. So don't go on Amazon and order it right now, because I'm going to just send you one for free if you want one, okay? Now, oops. Some people, I will admit, are kind of offended by the title of the book because it's called How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. And that's a little bit offensive. But even though that's a strong word, it's true. If not knowing how money works kind of sucks. It sucks up our time, it sucks up our freedom, and it sucks up our income. You just imagine, or maybe you have experience with this, as I do, imagine living paycheck to paycheck or struggling without the money to cover an unexpected expense. Maybe wondering how we could possibly retire in the future, or imagine this one, you do retire only to be thrust back to work because you've run out of money. So in other words, being financially illiterate, it sucks. Now, in our short time today, I want to just teach you a few key concepts that are going to help us all start thinking like the wealthy. And if this intrigues you, then I hope you might come to our full How Money Works masterclass, which just happens to be later tonight. So I'll get you the information for that, but this is a free workshop, virtual just like this, but we dive in a little bit deeper, and you can take your knowledge to the next level if you like what we're talking about today. So without the knowledge of how money works, people get stuck. We call it being trapped in the sucker cycle, and often we can get trapped here for life because oftentimes we just don't know what to do with our money or why. And then due to this ignorance, we're motivated more by instant gratification. And this is very easy in today's world of flashy marketing and social media. See, we spend our paycheck on all the glittery, fun things from companies that know how money works. And if there's anything left, as you can see down at the very bottom there, then we might save it at the bank. And the bank definitely knows how money works. So in other words, we get a paycheck from someone wealthy, and then we kind of turn around. Yeah?
Can you hear me? Yeah, we can see your notes, but we can't see the screen.
Oh, well, that's not what we want to see.
Yeah. So we go.
See why we're looking at the wrong page here. This should be the one. How about this?
There it is. Thank you.
Oh, you guys. Well, we want to go back and show you a couple of. Good thing you saw the book on the cover, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So here we are. We get our paycheck from someone wealthy, then we turn around and hand our money back to someone else that's wealthy. But this is George here from the book, you can see. And he says, watch who you're calling a sucker. You know, most of us don't make a lot of money. It's no wonder that we feel trapped. But as you can see here, it says their spending says otherwise. So this is what we want to take a look at here.
Your notes are up again. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay.
Okay. Let me just Wonder why that's doing that. Just a second.
The notes are off now.
Okay. Okay, so what we see over here is that the monthly spending habits by the typical American, and I know that it's really common to look at this and maybe say, well, I don't spend that much on those things, or there's some things here you don't spend any money on, but most of us maybe do some of this, or there's some areas where we spend more or a little less. But what we're looking at here is, you can see if you add up the total of this monthly spending is $757, which is kind of a lot. And even if we say, well, I don't spend that much, if you just take half, that is $378. And if rather than spending the $378, we could invest that and earn 8%, then 20 years from now, we would have over $200,000. And if we had a little more time, 30 years, then all that money that we're spending on going out to eat or new clothes or whatever it might be, that's over $500,000, which makes a really big impact when we are trying to work toward a comfortable retirement, right? So I look at this and I think, you know, sometimes we might just be eating and drinking our future if we don't take care of what we need to do, right? So we all are working very hard for our money, and you're looking for the right career. You're trying to get yourself in a place where you have that income, and you're working hard, trading your time for money, but we're limited in working for money because the number of hours in our day, or maybe even by our own experience or education, limits the income that we can work for. But when you put your money to work for you, there's really no limit on how much you can earn, because your money grows independently from your personal efforts. Well, how do we do that? It's from this concept of the power of compound interest. And if you're like me, maybe you already understand this. When I was younger, you know, we learned about it in math, so I knew what it was, but I'll tell you, I didn't really fully grasp the impact and the importance of this, particularly when it comes to wealth building. It's Albert Einstein who actually called compounding interest the eighth wonder of the world. So here's an example, okay? If we could put away $500 a month and earn 9% constant annual interest rate. Now, this is just an example for illustration to show this power of compounding interest. So after 45 years, the actual account of your money that you've put in, or I should say the total of your contributions, is down here, the $270,500. But in 45 years of compounding, the total value of the account is over $3.7 million, which you can see is about 13 times the money that you put in yourself. So if we're saving money away in the bank or somewhere where it doesn't have a chance to grow, it's great that we're setting money aside, but it really ignores the fact that the money can get together and make little money babies while we're not looking. And many, many times of what we put in is how it can grow. So super, super powerful. So then if we know that our money can compound, here's what we call the magic formula. It doesn't actually help you double your money, but it's this little mental math shortcut to understand when your money will double, how quickly your money will double at a given interest rate. So let's take a look at this rule of 72. Here's how it works. 72 is a constant, and if you divide that by an interest rate, if you're earning the interest rate, then it tells you how many years, the answer is how many years it will take for your money to double. So an example, if you earn 1%, 72 divided by 1, your money would double every 72 years. Or if you put in $100, 72 years later, you'd have $200. And here you can see that that higher interest rate is going to get you a lot more doubles, okay? Because a lot of us are going, well, I don't have 72 years to double my money. Okay, well, if you got 3%, it would only take 24 years. And 6% it would take 12, or 9% take 8 years to double. So basically in that same 72 years, right, if we had that long to wait, you know, then your money's going to double several more times. So it's exponential, the growth. It seems like those differences don't matter that much, but here's where you can see that impact. Just notice the spike in growth over here of even just a few small percentage points different. So this is super impactful. This is probably my favorite character in the book, Clark. He's pretty cute. Because the thing is, if you were to do a little homework activity, and let's say you go home and write down, or you are home, I guess, but for homework, you write down all of your accounts, you know, your bank account and maybe your 401k if you have one, or IRA, anywhere that you have money, and write down the interest rate, and then write down all of your debt. Okay, so a car payment, credit card payment, mortgage, anything where you owe people money and you pay interest. Then apply the rule of 72 to all those interest rates and look and see whose money is going to double faster, your money or their money. And that's where we start to realize that when we don't know how money works, we can be taken advantage of. And as you can see, Clark's figured out why we get a sucker or even a dum-dum when we go up to the bank to make our deposit. It's kind of a little joke, but maybe it's a subtle hint. I don't know. But this is all just, it's more than just a cool little, you know, party trick to do the rule of 72. Once you start understanding this fully, you might want to ask questions like, is the bank the best place to put my money? Am I willing to settle for that low return, or can I get a higher return and still have adequate safety? And then the last question there is probably my favorite. Will I get enough doubles during my working years to be able to have the kind of retirement goals that I want to have? So the time value of money is another key concept. I'm not going to go into a ton of detail today, but here's a few tips there. Obviously, we'd never have more time than now. So if you look at those charts and go like, well, I don't have 45 years, so it's just impossible. Start now, because time is your best ally when it comes to growing money. And then saving regularly and getting the highest interest rate possible, or the highest return. And then it's number 3 about be patient. Obviously, it can take time, but the other one I would add to that is to be consistent. Keep saving, even if it's a little bit, even through tough times, even through when money's tight. When we pay ourselves first, it will make a difference in that long run. So the thing about money is that this idea of the longer you wait, the more you must save. It's not just a little more. It's not a linear growth. It's an exponential growth. So here's, might be a little bit of a scary chart, but let's say you wanted to save $1 million by the time you're 67. Now we could have a whole other discussion about why $1 million maybe isn't enough for the typical retirement anymore. But let's say that's your goal, and you find your age over here on the left column. So let's say you're 40, then you would need to save $731 per month if you could get a 9% average interest rate or rate of return to have $1 million by the time you're 67. But look at just waiting 5 more years. You know, I'm just going to pay off my debt a little more before I start saving for retirement. 5 more years doesn't seem like a lot of time, but I mean, it's like a significant jump in how much that needs to be saved from age 40 to 45. Pretty crazy. I know that this can be overwhelming, sometimes make us feel like we are going to give up, but please don't do that, because there's a lot of factors that come into play. And this is certainly a way that you can meet with someone who can help figure out your individual situation and what you really can do and make a bigger impact. And the thing is that knowledge is really the foundation of it all. And we like to walk people through the 7 money milestones as kind of a roadmap to financial security and independence. So you can see that the very first of the milestones is financial education. And that is why we're so passionate about teaching these master classes and sharing our book for free with people, so that you really can understand and get that education as a foundation. I love that there's like a little mountain as the picture, because I like to say it might feel like financial security and independence looks like the peak of Mount Everest from where you are today. Maybe not for some of us, some people here on the call, but for some it may. And so it's important to know that we just have to go one step at a time, but also that you want to not try to DIY, do it yourself, something as crucial as your financial future. So I encourage people to find your money Sherpa, okay? Someone who has gone up this mountain before, someone who has the right tools in their pack to help you along the way. keep you from falling off the ledge or sliding backwards. Okay, and so that's what I would really encourage, is find a financial professional who you really trust and who understands this importance of you having a confidence and knowledge about how money really works. So then the rest of these money milestones here, we go through a little bit more in detail in the master class, but just a couple quick highlights. You'll notice that the very second one is protection against loss of income. If you or your partner were to pass away or become disabled, what happens then? So having that life insurance, disability insurance is so crucial, and understanding the right type to get, the right amount, making sure it fits in your budget is all really important parts of that discussion. Having 3 to 6 months of income saved for expenses. If you've been out of work or you're between jobs right now, whether that's from COVID or elsewise, then you fully understand the importance of that emergency fund. We help people with getting out of debt, just having a plan to pay less in interest in their debt, increasing cash flow, building wealth. Of course, it's so important to understand how taxes impact your retirement plan, how losses impact. Like all of our examples we've shown today are getting the 9% average, or not average, they say a 9% constant rate of return. Well, that doesn't happen anywhere. So you have to understand how losses impact your wealth building, and then of course the impact of inflation. And is the money that you're putting aside today going to surpass the rate of inflation, so it's still worth more in the future? And protecting wealth. Crucial part of a financial plan is to ensure that you have your will and your other basic estate planning documents put together, guarding your legacy from taxes and other elements. So a lot of things going on this page here, but these are areas that are explained more in our book as well as in our master class. So hope you'll get a chance to learn more about those. And of course, I can certainly answer questions too. In the very back of the How Money Works book is this money discovery sheet. This is awesome for once you've read the book, got that foundation of education, to kind of go through and look at, okay, what are our goals? What are we trying to accomplish, and when? What do we already have? What are the questions we're not sure about? And then bring this to your financial professional to go through a money discovery and really understand where you are now on that roadmap to financial security and what needs to be changed. I like to say that knowledge without application is just entertainment. So you can read a great book or attend an awesome workshop or, a full day event, but if you don't implement what you learned, then it was just entertaining. And I don't want anything that I teach people to just be entertaining, hopefully with slightly, but I really would like people to really implement what they've learned here. And that is the key, to take the information, put it into action. And that's what this money discovery sheet is all about. Now, we had to go through this stuff super duper quick today. So that is just kind of a very high level introduction. This is the information I wanted to share with you, that tonight at 7 p.m. is our How Money Works Masterclass, where we go into this just a little more in depth. There's a bit.ly link there to register for that if it interests you. As I said, there's no cost for this whatsoever. And then to get your copy of How Money Works, I'd encourage you to send me an email, or you can check out the website there, and has more information about the book, and also a place where you can request the book from me. So that's kind of the high level overview, as I said, that I wanted to share. And can I stop screen sharing? It won't. There we go.
Oh, great.
That was fantastic. Thank you, Kristen.
Well, you're welcome. And sorry for the technical difficulties there at the beginning.
No problem.
Not at all.
So if anyone had any questions, you're welcome to submit them for Kristen. If not, I'm sure a lot of us will be attending tonight's class. So these are just a couple of our upcoming workshops. We'll also send this out in email. Kayla and I will be doing a webinar on effective communication as a candidate coming up on July 9th. And then we're going to have another financial expert, Jessica Porter, on July 23rd. And then on August 6th, this one's going to be really great, career rehab, rebuilding your personal brand with Kanaka Tolver. So we're really looking forward to all of the upcoming sessions. Just seeing if any questions came in. Just that this was really great info.
I have a question for
Good.
Kristen. I'm curious, in your when you were in your early 20s, you started a business and you were making a lot of money, and you uh, learned a lot about mistakes that you had made.
Hmm.
Can you share a little bit about those mistakes
Yeah.
and how what you learned and how you would do things differently?
Yes, definitely. So I think if I had to sum it up, it was that we really overextended ourselves financially. It's the early 2000s when I was kind of just entering my career. Um, I didn't know anything about recessions and market downturns and that kind of thing, and just was sort of naive. I call it being like the doe-eyed, optimistic, which can be a great quality to be optimistic. But I feel like I just had no idea that things could get bad. So my business was successful. We thought we had arrived in life already. And so we bought an enormous home with a huge mortgage, in fact, 2 mortgage payments. We drove brand new cars, again, big payments, and kind of just created a lifestyle that we felt like we deserved because we were making good money and had our own business. But we're not really preparing for the rainy day. Everything that we were doing financially was based on, if it's like this now, and the expectation was it's just going to keep getting better because we'd had this surge of growth, and like, if it's going like this now, it's going to just keep getting better and better. And so we didn't create the kind of security that would come with having emergency fund. We weren't putting that much toward the future for retirement, like a tiny little bit, basically. The one thing I'll say we did right was we got life insurance right away. When my husband and I got together, we got life insurance set up. It maybe wasn't the best or the perfect life insurance, but we had something. So that's one thing, but it really just comes down to, we had all the money was coming in and flowing right through our fingers and going to credit cards, going to the bank for the car payment, for the mortgages. And we just weren't smart about living within our means and being prepared for the future.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And did you end up so is that how you got interested in money? And
yeah, pretty much. Because what happened, Lauren, is that my business, it was a fitness and weight loss center for women, and it was fantastic until like the big 2008 recession hit, and everyone was laid off, and just the business model didn't really sustain through that very well. And so our income went way, way down, and we just had really struggled to maintain the lifestyle that we had created with all of these payments.
Right. It's a heavy burden to carry. And I think
it is. Well, what I really learned, firsthand, is that money is not just spreadsheets and graphs and numbers. Money impacts us in these very emotional ways, psychologically, and our relationships. I mean, certainly my relationship with my husband was very strained while we were trying to work through these financial challenges. Thankfully, we're still together and very, very happy today. But that's not the case for many people who go through financial struggles. It can ruin relationships.
yes.
So there's all these mental, emotional, psychological aspects of money that we kind of brush under the rug, because maybe we think like, well, it's just me. But no, our money, that's why I was saying it impacts us in so many ways. Self-confidence, stress levels, all of these things, which can be like a domino effect on getting the job you want because of your ability to nail the interview in your confidence. And stress levels affects our health, and that also can affect our relationship. So it's like this web of different things that are impacted, and so important to really get a handle on it.
So true. Yeah, I think a lot of people they think about their health, and they have a gym membership, and maybe their personal health, and maybe they have a coach or a therapist that they see. And then when it comes to money, it's like we're not looking at our financial health the same way that we look at some other areas of our educational health. Are looking at the right colleges and going to college and getting that degree. All those things are great things. Absolutely. It's the money piece sometimes just doesn't get added into the conversation. And I think
Right.
educational institutions could do a much better job of preparing students for, their careers and, but not so much for their financial careers. So that's really
Absolutely.
why I think this is so important. So thank you
Yeah,
so much for your
you
wisdom.
are welcome. Absolutely. The financial education in this country is lacking to the extreme. So something we're very passionate about helping to correct that.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.